All right. Thank you for joining. Today we will go over POPCAT, USDT, perpetual futures chart on Bybit. So I'm doing this chart as a request. It's been a little while since I went over POPCAT. I don't really like to chart these coins just because these meme coins are pretty much all dead. But I will admit, out of the few I have looked at, if you see here, POPCAT is actually holding its own in terms of not completely losing its all-time low, right? If we just go back to any meme coin, look at Brett, for instance, right? Brett, I would argue, is probably more popular than POPCAT. Took out its all-time low. Dogecoin, no, because it's a strong meme coin. But we could type in anything, right? Let's go ahead and type in what's another popular one? Actually, I'm curious to see what fart coin looks like. So even fart coin, super popular, probably the most popular, took out its all-time low. But for some reason, POPCAT is holding on, right? So this should be very straightforward. Just mark out some of your most recent highs. Just delete this. Let's clone this. Range low, which was swept. Even the all-time low was actually swept once we go ahead and zoom in there. But you could even go ahead and pull a fixed range volume profile tool of this entire price action. I'll just leave out these first two candles just because it's probably a lot of noise volume. Let's just go from the actual pivot low, right? So with that being said, we're right below the value area low, all-time value area range profile, right? Point of control coming in at 24 cents, value area high coming in at 58 cents. And that does make sense just because, as you can see, that's where price has reacted to most recently. We swept the lows, and in my opinion, I would be just expecting continuation to the upside with a lot of these altcoins. Probably stay around the value area low for a little bit before moving up to the point of control. If we could flip the point of control, we can definitely get a little bit more buying pressure to come into play. And then I can see POPCAT possibly targeting the value area high once again. Now, where does that lead us? That is a 236% gain from current price. Will we get another pullback? Maybe. If we do get another pullback, I wouldn't really expect it to go ahead and retest those lows, right? Those lows are coming in at an additional 60% to the downside. I don't really think, I can't say it's not impossible, right? It's a meme coin. It's an altcoin and also a meme coin. But if you're looking at local price action, it did do a local supply demand flip, right? So you definitely want to see it to continue to trade above this zone, right? Maybe take out those lows, reclaim it before moving higher. So as of right now, I would be looking just to aim for the upside here, right? Long trades seem to be the highest probability trades. Yes, we are in a very local range right now. If we were to pull the high here, there's the low, mark a little box, you can see we were testing this recent high. Obviously, we will need to flip this high into support before moving higher. But in my opinion, with POPCAT, not a bad area to go long using risk management. Best area to enter, in my opinion, is around 16 cents. If you get the opportunity, around 15.5 cents to enter long, targeting the value area low, all-time value area low, which would be from that support, 15%. If you get bullish price action, all these wicks get filled. Or not wicks, but all of these fair value gaps get filled. Price continues to push higher. That's 50% to the point of control, which is the highest has the highest probability of being tested. Okay, out of all the levels, currently the point of control does have the highest probability of being tested because that's where the most volume is being traded. It acts as a magnet, and that's what I would be targeting if I was in POPCAT. And then I think what the latest crash just showed everybody is no matter what crypto you were in, for the most part, if you were leverage trading, right? I want to make this clear. If you were leverage trading, anyone for the most point that was trading with leverage over 2x, right? You were liquidated if you did not have a stop loss. So clearly the market makers were just flushing out the entire leverage space, right? And they did a great job. Now, the sad part is anyone that did not have a stop loss got wrecked. Even some people who had stop losses got wrecked, right? Now, the ones that made it out luckily, right? Made it out with some luck. If they were in spot, it doesn't matter because even if price drops, let's just say use POPCAT for example, right? If you entered here and then price just nuked, if you were in spot, you would have been down 70%. But because of the buyback that's happened across the market, reality, you'd have just been down 25%, right? So if you had $100, it would drop down to about a $23 account. And by today, you'd have had $75 in your account, looking for price to actually come back up to the upside and possibly end the week positive here, right? So this just shows you, and this is honestly the institutions just letting the smart players or the ones that pay attention know that, hey, your money is never safe in the futures perpetual market. It's just not safe. Whatever you put on there, consider it gone. Take profits aggressively. And if you are not in a major big leverage trade position, I mean, after last week, I just don't even see the point in being in futures at all. Like, I think spot is just the way to go. Build your portfolio spot. It makes the most sense. You can't technically go to zero on spot, right? It can get pretty low, but it can't technically go to zero. If the price rises one day, so will your account. On leverage, you don't even have to go to zero. You just need to go down a certain percentage, and then they take all your money, right? You get liquidated. So back to POPCAT, really quick. Interesting price action, clean price action actually. Resistance, 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 flip to support, aiming to value area low. Not much else to say. Aim for the point of control. If you just enter aggressively, makes sense just to hold it. Possibly get a 40% gain to the upside to the point of control. That's the highest probability trade. And I have a feeling that it's going to hit in the next few weeks. Yeah, stop loss, I guess, below the swing low. Still a pretty big stop loss, about 8%. But if you manage your position size, trade with about 10% of your account. If you do get stopped out, you're only losing 1% overall, right? So that's pretty much it with POPCAT. Not much else to say. It is a meme coin. All of these coins are just best for shorting, in my opinion. You could even look at the most popular one right now, which is Aster, right? So Aster, just go to Bybit. Even though it had a crazy run up, it's trading quite well. Before this nuke happened, if you were short from, let's just say, you had a little swing failure pattern here. If you were short from the moment you had that close, 4-hour close below, it would have taken some time. But the reality is, right, let's just say before this drop happened, you'd had a chance to get out 30% gain. And now, look, price is still rolling over again, looking to move even lower. And then who knows, it might come all the way back down to its launch price, right, which is 67%. A lot of these meme coins are just, not really meme coins, but a lot of these hype coins are just great to short. These aren't meme coins, though, so they might have some life back, but Meme coins are just best for shorting. That's what people don't understand. If you're in a meme coin and you have access to Q coin or any one of these decentralized exchanges, just wait for the right opportunity. Mark out your highs, weekly highs, right? No matter what, let's just use this for example. Let's just, if you were in meme USDT, right? The best meme coin of them all, literally called meme, right? It made this weekly high. You said, okay, well, whenever price comes back below this weekly high, I'm just going to short. I'm just going to short no matter what. Just go to the 4 hour. And then what happened? You would have waited. Price came back below right here. You could have took the short, stop loss above the high. And then you could have just rode it all the way down. To be honest, not even thinking about it. Like, it's a meme coin. Yeah, it might have those scam pumps, but these coins are just terrible, right? Let's just say you target the lows. And what did it do? Of course, it hit the lows. And then same thing again, you put it on the weekly chart. You say, okay, I'm just going to wait. It took out the high. This was the previous high before. So what I'll do, mark that high. Once price closes below it, you can even say once a weekly candle closes below, you're going to go short. But maybe you go down to the daily, slightly more aggressive. Same thing here, right? Let's just say you entered here, which would have been a massive stop loss, right? Pretty crazy stop loss actually, but let's just say you waited for the retest, you know, being a better trader, you waited for the retest, entered in here, stop loss there, and just aim for the low one more time. And it would have took some time, but after a little while, about let's see here, from March, about 1 month later, you would have hit the low and took home a nice 64% profit, right? And then if you just held it, you had some runners. Look where it's at right now, right? 96% down. So if you were on leverage, or if you just didn't do leverage, just literally go on futures and type in 1x, which I still think you can be liquidated with 1x, by the way, on futures. That's why it's best to just have spot, but spot doesn't allow shorting. But futures, even 1x, eventually you'd have doubled your account or close to doubling your account by just holding this coin short after it took out a weekly high. It's the same thing across the board on almost any single meme coin. What's another weird one? MEU USDT, right? Same thing. You wait till you get a close below this wick, short it down. Wait till you get a close. This one would actually stop you out, right? So this would have stopped you out. But maybe you have a little risk management. You set a percentage that you're not willing to lose. You say, okay, this is obviously getting very bullish, and you just wait. Create another wick high. You could even waited until this wick was taken. All right, went short. And then just look at how it played out. Right? Say you decided to go short. Let's just say you went short here. All right. Held it. Nothing but lows. You'd have gained 84%. Even 2x, that's almost a double up. 3x, you would have doubled your account. And yeah. And that's it. So meme coins are just best for shorting, in my opinion. I don't even go long on them. I think longing just doesn't make sense unless it's like Dogecoin, which is just the best meme coin. And then maybe Bonk. Bonk, it was another one that kind of blew up with Dogecoin and Shiba. It's kind of holding its own, but still came down a lot, right? I haven't even looked at Shiba. I forgot this coin even existed. But look at Shiba. Absolutely destroyed. All these meme coins, every single one besides Dogecoin, once you see a little bit of hype behind it, let it skyrocket and just pay attention to those weekly highs and then just short it. Not financial advice, but that's my opinion of what I'm going to be doing a lot more moving forward, because it's just a phenomenal pattern that plays out endlessly. It's like free money. All right, that's it. Thank you for joining. Remember to like and subscribe, and leave a comment below of a project you'd like to see me chart. Take care.